You are now listening to the Peter and Jake Talks Wrasslin podcast, a weekly review of Monday Night Raw and other wrestling-related topics. And here's your hosts, Peter Day and Jake Grandi.
Hello, boys and girls.
How's it going?
Buddha monks in the trunk.
Turn the bass up.
And turn up, just turn up, because it's what the hell is it? It's almost the end of the year.
Yeah, it's fall.
It's fall.
It's like we're like deep into fall. Like leaves changing.
And
rain today. Sunny right now.
It felt like Miami today. I woke up to rain. I walked in the rain, and then it stopped raining. It rained again. Stopped raining. Rained again. And now the sun is shining.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's like all the sports are back in action.
Yeah.
Midway through the NFL season.
Did you watch the World Series last night?
I watched it all.
Yeah. I watched a little bit. I watched it before it got good. I turned it off around the 5th because I was watching it at work and I left. So
I watched the first innings at Los Cabos for Taco Tuesday, and then I came home, streamed it. It was ridiculous that the power went out. They lost the network.
Yeah.
The shit just went out. It was like, sorry for the technical difficulties. It's like, what? That's the World Series.
Yeah. I mean, it happened in the Super Bowl a few years ago.
They didn't lose their feed.
Oh.
They lost their lighting in the dome.
Yeah, yeah.
They lost their entire feed. They had to actually hop onto the Fox International feed to pipe it in.
That's funny.
You got basketball back in swing. We were just talking about your hat because he's wearing a Chicago Bulls hat.
No doubt.
Can the people see it?
Oh, Chicago Bulls.
And I'm a Pacers fan, so that's the irony there. Huge Indiana Pacers fan. And then you got hockey in full swing. We got, midway through the NFL season. So everything is going on. It's like the best time to be a sports fan. And on top of that, we got a bunch of wrestling stuff to talk about.
I feel like wrestling, though, is holding its own, man. I think I really liked the pay-per-view, and I really liked Raw, like even better than the pay-per-view.
Surprise, people.
I wasn't bored throughout the entire pay-per-view, which is rare for a WWE show. I think the pacing of it and where they put all the matches was amazing. I don't know who does that, but that was an amazing.
Look, Jake liked the show. Surprise!
Hey, look at this.
Hey, you gotta actually go down to your white too.
Yeah, why not?
We're gonna look suspect, man.
Nah, man, it looks good, man.
We look totally suspect.
We're a tag team.
Like, apparently, so check this out. You can check this out on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, on YouTube. If you're tuning into YouTube, he came in wearing like a flannel, right? And a white shirt under. I'm wearing my V-neck because I'm fashionable. I wanted to be fashionable for this podcast. And he decides to take his flannel off. So we're both sitting here with two. I think I'm a change, man. I can't do this.
Well, no, I'll put it back on.
No. You keep that on. No. I'm going to go gray because that's just too suspect.
No. You're freaking me out now, man.
I don't want to freak you out.
Okay.
You want to go?
No.
You're the guest.
I got you, man. Look, I'm going Mick Foley here.
Yes, please, go Mick Foley.
Okay.
Dude, I don't think I could have stand looking at.
Yeah, I was seeing it. I was just a little hot, but then I was seeing it, and it was it threw me off. You're right. But, I mean, it was
suspect.
I'm going to just undo the sleeves a little bit here, because it was a little.
It'd be like Peter and Jake talking suspect. So, yeah, you are listening, and also, breaking news. We're also now on Podbean. I made sure that happened last night. It cost me $100
well, goddamn.
for the year.
Oh, that's not bad.
To sign up. It's a good thing I have the money on. But yeah, if you're listening to anything and if you're watching even now on YouTube and you're checking this out for the first time, we're now also on Podbean. Podbean is an awesome way to get this out further. Next up will be TuneIn. We're going to try to get on TuneIn as well. But yes, for those that are listening on Podbean, hey, what's going on? I'm Peter.
This is Jake.
And you, again, are listening to Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. A lot to cover, but before, there was no New Day podcast because I was doing a bunch of uploads of my live reactions. I have one in particular we'll bring it up when we start talking about the Hell in a Cell. Your best and worst from last week up to now.
Let's see. I would say best Kevin Owens and Cesaro on Raw, no doubt.
And it doesn't have to be wrestling.
Oh.
It could be anything. It could be wrestling or anything. It could be anything. Best and worst.
Yeah, I would say. Well, it doesn't have to be wrestling. I would say. Well, then the Panthers winning,
Going 6-0.
6-0. That's definitely the best. And worst would be Brie Bella on Raw. I'll go with that one.
You're doing that out of spite because that was probably one of her Raw match was probably one of the best. Yes, one of the best performances I've seen. Of her.
Oh, well, that's still not good.
Oh, stop it! You want to elaborate on why?
Oh, she fucked up every move she was probably in. She called Brie mode and it got over, but every move.
Are you talking about Nikki or Brie?
Brie.
Oh, you know what? I'm thinking Nikki.
No, Nikki is definitely improving. So
Nikki's great now.
She's getting better.
She's better than Flair.
Charlotte Flair?
Oh yeah.
That's
Charlotte Flair.
That's a very ridiculous statement.
No, because Charlotte Flair.
Ridiculous.
It's funny because I thought I was a minority, and whenever I saw her perform, she's very limited. And you listen to other people's other podcasts, and we talk about guys who really watch this sport and have no, they don't have personal agendas against certain wrestlers. And if anything, you should be happy for Charlotte Flair, but they are also like. I heard someone.
It doesn't. If everyone in the world says it, they would all be wrong. Charlotte is better than Nikki. I'm not saying Charlotte is like one of the best.
We haven't even gone into NXT's developmental yet, and he's already getting defensive.
No, I'm not defensive. I'm just like, if you are watching wrestling and you've watched it and you understand,
she's not good. She's not good.
You don't have to be good to be you don't have to be good to be better than Nikki, which is what you said.
You're getting so defensive already off the jump.
Well, because you were.
Here's
jumping.
the difference. Because I want to say my piece first. I think she's still super young. I think if you got that package like that, it's kind of hard not to hold. It's kind of hard not to hold you back.
Well, why is she worse than Nikki though?
Because Nikki's had more time. She's had more time around the business. And to develop into the wrestler.
That's not true.
Into the wrestler. Can I finish?
But that's a false statement because Charlotte's had her whole life. Charlotte's had her whole life, where Nikki's only had 7-8 years.
Charlotte hasn't even considered becoming a wrestler until, say, the last 3 years.
That's a fact, but still, she jumped Nikki. You don't have to. I mean, come on, man.
Man, you're getting so defensive right now. I'm not dissing Charlotte. I'm not dissing Charlotte. I think there's a lot of upside. To what I'm saying.
I know,
now.
But you said the reason.
Let me get to the upside.
Okay, well, let me get my pen out because I'm going to sun you when you're.
Well, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on this because I got to get to my.
Well, I'm just saying, just because she's been in the business for a shorter period of time does not mean she's better. That's like saying the Big Show is obviously better. No.
I think she's honed her craft more. I think she's a little more diverse in her skill set.
Diverse in her skill set.
I mean, you just have a personal bias against her.
No, she can't do holds. She just now within the last 6 months started getting somewhat good. It doesn't matter the longevity. You can suck for your whole life. It doesn't matter. Like she is not a good wrestler. She's getting better, but she's still not as good as Charlotte, and Charlotte's not the best.
Voices that I respect around the business. Listen to podcasts.
Who are these people?
James Caldwell, the Solid Monster.
He's not in the business. He's a fan just like us.
No. Like I said, the podcast business. People who really invested a lot of time and they know when they see something. All of them.
First of all, you're insulting me because I've invested my whole life into this.
Well, I mean, I'm not talking. Well,
stuff.
obviously, you have your feeling for it anyway. I'm not discounting.
Well, why wouldn't they have a feeling?
Well, how about I say this? Because again, if you're going to get worked up about me criticizing Charlotte Flair, I'm just going to stop and move on to my best and worst. Now, you're going to let me say this or not? They've all said the same thing about Charlotte Flair. Is that she has a long way to go. An extremely long way to go. And at her age and her pedigree, that's not going to be a problem.
But that's not saying that it's bad.
Listen, the comparison that they made to her was to Sting. And when Sting was given the belt, it was the wrong time to put it on. Do you agree?
No.
When he first got the belt, he first came into the business, Flair put him over, they got him the belt. And, history states that was just too soon for that kid. It was too soon for Sting.
Well, sure, but...
Because he had a lot more growing up.
But Nikki Bella ain't Ric Flair. Getting the belt off Nikki was really good.
No. I'm not saying that Nikki Bella was Ric Flair. I'm just trying to make a point, and I'm not trying to... I made that comparison in terms of the upside to each one of these individuals. Now, again, Charlotte herself, as young as she is and the progress that she's made, but I'm saying it's a long way to go. I still think it was a bad idea to take the belt off of Nikki Bella, to throw it on Charlotte Flair so soon, where her skill set is so limited. Now, she's no Roman Reigns, but at the same time, if we're talking about jumping into women's wrestling, I think she's as much on a path to improvement as much as Roman Reigns.
And I would say that, Charlotte, you're right about that. But you said that Charlotte was not as good as Nikki Bella.
No. Nikki Bella's better.
Yeah, that is false.
No. Do you disagree? You disagree?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I disagree. And
you're entitled to that.
Because this is what you said. You said one of the points you made was the longevity, and Nikki has only started improving within this year. So obviously, you can erase all 7-8 years prior because she didn't do anything. She got over because she was, being with guys in the back. That's pretty much how. That's why they already fired him. They brought her back for the Total Divas thing. She was never over in wrestling until the last 6 months. Yes, you said Charlotte is not as versatile as you would like, but Nikki isn't versatile at all. She could barely run the ropes up until a year and a half ago.
And you know what? I'm
saying, and if you
look
at
how I felt about
I let you finish.
Because it's not about debating about what the fuck we got to talk about. We got to talk about this. We got to talk about other things. I only brought up a point. I'm not trying to get into a whole debate about how you feel about Charlotte Flair. This is not how do we feel about the Charlotte Flair show. I only brought that up in terms of what your thing was about Brie Bella being the worst, and I just brought up Charlotte Flair. I was like,
but you thought I was talking about Nikki.
I misheard. It was a matter of mishearing things. We can have an entire discussion later on in another podcast where we don't have at least 4 segments to already talk about. No, Jake. We're going to talk about this later because it's not getting us anywhere. I don't want you to get worked up about this, and I don't want to feel like I don't want to make you feel defensive. I don't want to make it feel like you got to get on the offense against what my opinions are. So my best and my worst.
Well, you just interrupted me after you wanted to give your whole thing.
No. Because here's the thing.
You interrupted me.
We got
after
4
you made
segments.
Wait, stop. And Charlotte is more versatile. If you look at her, she can do power moves and she can do submission moves. Where Nikki submission game is dog shit. As far as actually performing the moves, she doesn't. I mean, she's getting better, yeah, but she is not as good as a lot of women's wrestling. I can go on if you want me to, but I was stopping.
We got 4 segments, and to go into, and I didn't know because here's the thing, and this is what and it's funny because the NXT is developmental part of this is not even me dogging anybody. So, and it's just whenever it comes to those NXT darlings, you get so worked up if anything critical is said.
Well, you compared her to Nikki. Yeah, she does.
No.
I agree with everything you said. I agree with everything you said about Charlotte.
It's entertaining, nevertheless. I imagine anyone's listening is completely on edge right now.
Everything that you said was true, but when you said she was worse than Nikki, that's false, and I will tell you why all day.
It's not false.
It is false.
It's my opinion, and it's your dislike for Nikki Bella that you feel that way about her. That's it. It's the point.
No. It is false, and it is my opinion about Nikki Bella, and your opinion is completely wrong and inaccurate.
No.
Because the only way you said your opinion was right is because other people. So it's not even your opinion. It's other people's opinion in the first place.
I hope y'all find this entertaining. My best of the weekend was the Panthers, but you took that. My best was the fact that I actually sat through the entire first game of the World Series. Ended up going up 14 innings. 14 innings. And I haven't watched a single game this entire season. And I actually invested to watch history happen because between the Mets and Kansas City, they haven't won a World Series. I don't think Kansas City has won a World Series since the 80s. And I don't think the Mets have won a World Series since like the 70s. So that was cool to watch. I plan on watching the game tonight. And then my worst, I have two worst. The tragedy that happened at Oklahoma State, drunk driving. You're talking to someone who's dealing with, drinking while driving. I got caught, and I'm dealing with this shit now. I don't encourage anyone to drink and drive. The situation there, they were having like a parade, and a drunk driver plowed through them.
What?
Plowed right through them, killing 3.
I didn't know about that. That's awful.
Yeah, it is awful. So that's my worst. And then my other worst is this viral video floating around of a police officer actually tossing this girl around for being insubordinate in class. I mean, she didn't hit anybody. She's in a classroom. The teacher asked her to leave. She refuses to leave, so they call on the campus cop, and he comes in like RoboCop, and basically snatches her up, flips her out of her desk, slings her across the class, and handcuffs her. And just a backlash of the people who are analyzing this, and then you got people who are saying that she should have complied. I just go, man, I'm not someone who's a fuck the police guy. I'm not. And I never say that. I'm not the one to say all cops are bad. You got some that are just not qualified. And the ones who are getting caught on camera or the ones who are in trial for either A, killing someone, the press itself, the fact that it is a black-white issue is the fact that's why the press has taken likeningness to this. But she was a child. She was a black child, and her getting tossed around by RoboCop is just not cool. And people defending his actions is just, I think it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So that's my bad and the worst. That's my bad and the worst for the weekend. Best and worst of the weekend. So moving forward, let's go into this segment, this new segment. It's called
NXT is developmental.
NXT is developmental. Now, I don't want to focus so much on NXT because last week, the last show was actually pretty cool. You saw things were put into place. I'm still not a big fan of Dawkins and Dash. I'm not. Just something about them just rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
But Tyler Breeze, he's still on the NXT roster. He still has a couple of dates up until I think December before he's like completely on the main roster. Mm-hmm. But he debuted on SmackDown to not only join up with Summer Rae, but to go up against Dolph Ziggler. Did you get to see his debut?
I saw in highlight form online. It seems all right. I mean, they kind of rushed. It seems like they're using Tyler Breeze to get Ziggler and Summer Rae away from the Rusev angle, which, I mean, that's not a bad way to do it, and it's not a bad way to like kind of hide that you're doing it by debuting a completely new guy. And yeah, that's kind of cool. Ziggler and Breeze probably gonna be some great matches. I mean, they do look very similar, but that's kind of
yeah.
That's kind of I don't know. That's just something you're just gonna have to get used to, I guess.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That was one of the first things I thought of. I mean, Ziggler's at least 2 more inches taller.
Yeah.
They have different flair, but nevertheless, they both have flair. When I saw it, I sat back and I go, it's very rare that we get debuts where someone comes in and makes an impact. Where it's, this is a non-competitive debut. He comes in, he says his lines, who he is, and then he targets. He focuses on his targets and he attack. That's what that was. And I sat back, and where there's always that fine line between what you imagine it to look like and how you think it's going to go down versus when you actually see it and it really goes down. Mm-hmm. Now, I still have this idea that I feel like the Tyler Breeze gimmick is going to be tough to get over on the main roster, right?
Yeah.
I think SmackDown is a tough place to test the waters because you don't really get the natural response from the crowd because there's a lot of canned heat.
Yeah.
And that's what SmackDown is. It's just canned heat. You can never really get the gist of what the crowd is reacting to, what they're not reacting to. There was some people in the crowd, but just the look itself and teaming up with Summer Rae, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let go of this whole it won't transition over, and I'm just gonna sit and wait for WWE to fuck it up.
I guess I'm still hopeful. It's only been 2 shows now. Like, he showed up on Raw too, and he's in a main event tonight against Samoa Joe. So I guess this is just his time in the spotlight here. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna wait too. But I think he's enough of a wrestler that he can at least find a spot on the roster. I don't know if it's ever going to be for a belt, but maybe the U.S. title, maybe something like that. And we already know he can have great matches with like Neville and guys like that are on the roster. So I feel like he can find his spot, but I don't think it's going to be as big of an impact as he was on NXT.
Well, it's funny, just the aesthetic of the arena. You used to looking at him in a very close space, a very lit space, and where people are just reacting to him every second, until like, well, there's a lot of darkness around now, and the lighting is different.
Like when his music hit, I feel like it got a pop on Raw.
I still think it's going to take time. I mean, if you talk about like how many, what is it? What would it be? 20,000 people in an arena? How many? What's the average count of an arena?
I think 20,000.
So they cut that in half. So let's just say 12,000 people are at that event. I would say a good 2,000 of those people know who Tyler Breeze is.
Yeah, I would agree.
And you would only hope that those guys are sitting up front.
Yeah, for the best possible reaction. But I think they are trying to make it seem like a newer guy, and then the announcers do a good job of like a reporting aspect, like giving off in a reportive style and explaining like this guy was in NXT, he's a model of sorts and everything like that.
I don't agree with the NXT. I don't agree when they have to talk about them coming from NXT.
Really?
I can't stand it.
I think they're just trying to, with that stuff, to mimic how awesome it was for like the Attitude Era, for them to have like a guy from WCW show up and a guy from WCW would show up on their show. I think with doing that, they're just trying to like mimic that, like that kind of feel, and they can't do it, so they have to, manufacture it.
But the only thing I could compare this to is like whenever someone came to the main roster, this was before NXT. It's like, it wasn't like, oh, yeah, they came up from FCW. Oh, yeah, they came from OVW.
Yeah.
It was just like, these guys came in. It's like, yo, I'm John Cena. Yo, I'm Randy Orton. Yo, I'm Batista.
Mm-hmm.
The hell? And it's the Raw general manager. He keeps hitting me up. I keep telling him, like,
he must have some kind of live feed.
I don't fucking care. I don't care. Yeah, he wanted to voice his opinion on Charlotte Flair. But I feel like you're just already setting this person up to say, okay, this guy is from developmental. This guy is a rookie. And I just feel like it doesn't do justice. It's not due diligence to already having this guy have this impression that he's just like this newbie. You just want like a guy to come in. It's like, yo, I'm about to make an impact. Versus, oh yeah, this guy, he came up from the minor leagues. It's not baseball. It's wrestling. You want these guys to put asses in the seats. You don't want to see this guy grow. It's not like we're watching this. We're tuning in to watch this guy grow. We're tuning in to see a star become bigger. you know. And I always disagree with when they call out. It's let the people know they're from NXT. I just think it's a bad move. And on top of that, do you feel that connecting instantly with Summer Rae is a great thing? It's a good or bad thing?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think him having a valet, or just the idea of a valet in general, is to make someone feel stronger. And you already, like, people already know to boo Summer Rae. You know, people already know her as like this thing. So the people that don't know Tyler Breeze and the rest of the 10,000 people know who Summer Rae is, and they both started in NXT together. Like, that's just something that we know. You know, that we know.
I don't think people are booing Summer Rae right now because she came out of that whole Rusev thing as a sympathetic babyface. Right? I mean, she was the girl who got basically behind her back, this guy proposed to another woman. And when she castrated him, slapped him, and then screwed him out of a match, slapped him again, that got her over. And she's kind of like a sympathetic babyface on the rebound.
Well, I mean, yeah, then
Tyler Breeze is coming in as he's kind of a dick. He's
yeah,
like,
well, I'm saying, like, even if you boo her or don't boo her, you know who she is. So it's like you're gonna pay attention. Like, who's that guy with Summer Rae? So I think it does put the heat from Summer Rae onto Breeze a little bit.
Well,
slightly.
Breeze himself is going to get the heat because he's going to treat her like insignificant. That's that.
But it's better that it would be a already existing character than like a character that they bring in with him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think it's good on that aspect.
She's going to get over as the babyface still, and he's going to be the heel because it's going to be like the Macho Man dynamic.
We'll see.
Because that's the whole selfie thing, and him actually going in for a kiss, denying kisses, and showing that he doesn't really want to be near her. Yeah. But the whole point is that he's there for her. But, like, you know, it's the whole stereotype of girls going after the jerks, right? And I feel like that's the role that he's going to play.
You think Ziggler's going to take Summer Rae?
I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with that. Actually, I have no clue because he's made it a point. He's made it a point now that he wants no parts with her. Right now, it's just a matter of I want to know how this feud is going to be because obviously it's not over Summer Rae.
Well, yeah, it's not over Summer Rae, and I was just gonna say, like, as good as it is for Tyler Breeze, it's probably pretty bad for Ziggler. Like, Ziggler's definitely going down the card. Like, at least it was a prominent storyline with Rusev that involved Lana, involved Summer Rae, involved all these characters. But this is just a new guy jumped you, and now you're pissed. Like, that's a very basic storyline. A guy that's very far down the card.
He no-selled when he showed up. Hell in a Cell, though. I mean, he just kind of showed up. And I don't even think they talked about him getting jacked by Tyler Breeze during the pay-per-view.
It was pre-show, but yeah. That was all right. He showed up on Raw too. I think that, like, him having his little VIP section is good for the character. If they're going that way with the character,
I didn't like the VIP section.
You might as well go full into it. I think with all that, I did.
He could have into it. I would have felt it more entertaining if he was just taking selfies of himself and drawing attention to himself, having his thing on the Titron as the match is going on to be a huge distraction. Mm-hmm. Just him sitting in a little VIP section didn't really add to the impact that he made on SmackDown. But we'll get into that. But we've gotten past NXT is developmental. We're going to go into Hell in a Cell.
Real quick.
By the way, have you calmed down?
I'm cool, man. I was cool, man.
God. Dude, I can't wait to listen to this.
And I'm cool, man. I did get freaked out, man. I'm sorry.
Man,
about that,
you got worked up, but this is you. This is you. I mean, I think it's great for the passion. I think the passion you have for those up and comers is something because you're thirsty for new stars. I had that abbreviated period where I got out of wrestling altogether. I've only been watching wrestling again since 2008. And you've been watching it. There was no stoppage for you. And it's like, man, I need new stars. So NXT is like a breath of fresh air. And it's definitely. Like, and you know, look at you, Mr. Bah Humbug. You're nitpicking over all these people with all this potential. And I go like, well, someone has to be. that way, you know? And I'm not doing it out of spite. I just think as an analytical person that, like, there's nothing...
There is a place for the counter-argument. I agree with that.
No, well, I just... There's a lot of good things, but then there's bad things. And as developmental guys, I feel like the bad things should be focused on more than the good things. Because those are the things that need to be worked out. Those are the kinks. They're kinks because you want these people to be stars. I want them to be stars. I go, if I say something is like, well, in terms of storyline, this isn't going to help this person propel. Or within athletic ability, these are certain things that they need to focus on to become better. Within star status, these are the things that they have, the things that, like Cesaro and how he doesn't step up when the limelight is on him. When the thing is on him, he kind of goes off into the corner. He doesn't step into the spotlight. As a wrestler, fucking all over the place. But when it comes to him as an individual, he shies away. He's very modest. And to be a star, you cannot be modest. That's the last thing you need to be as a star. So those are the things that I focus on. Those are the things I definitely focus on. And not necessarily like, oh, this person, this is bad, this is this. And I do have my opinions. And yes, my opinion about Charlotte, about her and versus Nikki Bella, it is my opinion. But my opinions can change after a while. You see what I'm saying? And like, that's what I have to be allowed because I'm not stopping this for a while. I'm not going to stop talking wrestling for quite some time. And as much as I hated Nikki Bella and that my impression has changed on her, it can happen for any and every other wrestler that has a nitpick. Especially Mr. Kick Slap, Punch Kick Slap. And that's going to take some time.
Well, we'll get into that because he definitely was on this show, Hell in the Cell. I think it kicked off with a big surprise. Well, let's go over it. We already kind of talked about the pre-show. It was a six-man tag. Rusev, Sheamus, and Barrett, Cesaro, Ziggler, and Neville. The faces and heels we don't know anything what to do with, so we might as well put them in a match because everyone wants them.
Plus because Randy Orton got injured. Apparently he got taken out the garbage.
Oh.
Did you hear that?
I didn't hear that, but that sounds fishy. Sounds like he didn't.
Like, what the fuck was in that garbage? What are you carrying, Randy Orton? What the fuck is in that garbage that you're gonna pull something?
Well, I mean, Sami Zayn blew out her shoulder.
Is it any wrestlers that are missing? Maybe it was Luke Harper.
That's what they.
No, I'm kidding. He's back, but nevertheless, I just thought that was very strange. I speculated that he just disagreed, but
yeah, I kind of think that too. Wrestlers have been known to do that in the WWE, like kind of fake an injury or fake this to not, lose their smile if they would. But I think we'll get into it. I thought Raw was better without Orton or Cena, but
or Big Show. There's a lot of people that weren't on that show.
But did anything of note of the first match, the Cesaro, Neville, and Ziggler versus Rusev, Sheamus, and Barrett?
Nothing really stood out. I mean, you just look at it for what it's worth. I just think if I was to point out anything, is that three-man team of Rusev, Wade Barrett, and Sheamus is pretty badass.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I have some.
Say it, dude.
Well, now that Del Rio's back and Zeb's there, obviously they don't really look. They don't pair. I don't think they pair well together.
Who?
Zeb and Del Rio.
Well.
So I think that's itching for a heel manager to turn on his heel guy, and then that would make Del Rio face, and then you need to put Zeb with a faction. And I think
man, that's a stretch of a fantasy book right there, buddy.
Well, then that's great matches coming out of that. Fresh matches coming out of that. Except for Sheamus and Del Rio.
Well, the only thing that I see, and this is, I want to keep Del Rio as far away from that mid-card.
Oh, this is a year. This is in a year.
Even that mid-card hell, that mid-card hell staff, keep him as far away because he is. I don't even want to talk about it right now until we get into the segment. But you look at Ziggler, Cesaro, and Neville. The WWE is hurting on the face count. They're hurting on the face superstars. They're hurting like hell. And because they have other agendas, your Roman Reigns, your Dean Ambrose, your Undertakers, your Demon Canes, that, people like Ryback, they have to take a back seat. People like Neville, those guys are backseat. They're the backseat, the backseat bears, and it sucks. But then you look at the other side of the ring, and it's like Rusev, who are also in like mid card heel hill.
Rusev,
they need each other, man. They need each other. Like they need each other. Like Elizabeth needs Macho Man. You're like, I'm dead serious.
Yeah, they look much stronger as a team, especially Sheamus paired with Barrett. When they did that, I thought that. I mean, I think Sheamus was drowning just with the briefcase by himself. I think put him with Barrett, you got like a strong team. You got the King of the Ring and the Money in the Bank and all these accolades put into one.
I have a name for them.
King of the Bank?
No, the Pounding Brutes.
Yeah.
You know why? You know why?
Why is this?
They're English, the Pound, and then the Bulgarian Brute, the Pounding Brutes. But even on SmackDown when they went up against, I think it was the Dudley Boys and Ryback. No. It was no. I apologize. It was I apologize. That was the Lucha Dragons versus Sheamus and Barrett. And there was a part where Sin Cara does a suicide dive at Sheamus, but Rusev runs, just hauls ass and pushes Sheamus out of the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man. I was just like, yo, this is what's up.
Yeah.
And especially the character development of Rusev to where he's actually putting himself in harm's way for his team. Look for a babyface run real soon with Rusev. It's just you just don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, that sucks, man. I feel like Rusev is being underutilized. I really do. I feel like he's great talker, great character, great in the ring. So putting him with the team, that's the only downfall of the team is that Rusev can't stand alone. But I guess he's in the doghouse with the WWE.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to think like that. Like the dog. I never want to bring up the doghouse. That's just so petty to me. It makes me cringe.
Well, it does seem very obvious in this case, I think. But I mean, as I would like to see Rusev as a singles competitor, but putting him in this group, it does make this group better. So
they look powerful.
Yeah.
They look stronger than the Wyatts. They look stronger than the Wyatts. I mean, come on. Like, you got the ex-U.S. champion. We got Barrett, who's the King of the Ring, who I think he was the U.S. champion and Intercontinental champ. You got a 3-time World WWE champ. And now the Money in the Bank. They carry some weight. They carry more weight as a tandem than any tandem on the main roster now. There's nothing comes close.
Yeah, if you just compare their accolades, but I feel like just like the way they've been booked, just like kind of like funneled them into each other, which they got to fight that to get to the top. But yeah, I think they need to do more with them. I think they need to develop.
They're good where they are. They're good if you just keep them as a team, go up against whatever jabroni tag teams you could throw in there, and just make them look strong. I think you can then plant the seed of dissension because they are heels, essentially,
Oh, yeah,
they're so buddy as heels. At some point, yes. And I'm so glad that Randy Orton got hurt. Speaking of which, because we don't have to go through this dissension between him and this weird dissension thing with him and Ambrose and that match that was coming forward. And also Team Bad being off TV for a while. So you don't see that dissension of planting seeds. Moving forward, we did finally get a breakup, and then we get a breakup, and then we get and then you get this. These guys can make a good storyline.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Other than that, that was the only outside of Kevin Owens. That was the only Hell in a Cell prediction I got right.
No, you got 4 right.
I thought I got 4. What? Well,
we'll go over. I don't remember which ones, but I did the tallies, and we both got one right here, and then we moved on to Cena versus the Mystery Department, which we've already discussed, and everyone already knows probably Del Rio. I picked Tyler Breeze, he picked a Wyatt family member, and we both picked Cena, so we got this match totally wrong. But I thought this was an awesome, surprise and an awesome way to put the belt on someone who might has made just as much of an impact as having it on Cena.
Did you? Because when you were sitting there, were you like, "Come on, somebody!" Like when Zeb Coulter came out, what was the first thing you thought?
I was like, it better not be fucking Zach Swagger.
Jack Swagger.
Zach Swagger. Zach,
yeah,
exactly.
Him and Zach
Ryder or Jack Swagger.
They both spiked their hair, so why not?
I'm just saying, that's what I was
we the people.
Yeah, I don't want any of that stuff. I was like, don't rejuvenate the Curtis
woo
Axels.
The people.
Yeah, woo the people. Don't bring the Curtis Axels of the world out there, which is I thought exactly what they were going to do. But then they announced Del Rio.
So, wait a minute before we go there. Check this shit out.
Okay.
What I'm showing him right now, if you're watching on YouTube, is actually my live reaction to it. And it's up to like 2,347 views, which is, I'm pretty proud of that.
That's pretty awesome, yeah. So you can get all those live reactions on YouTube on the same channel?
Yes,
okay.
And it's this one in its entirety. So you'll see, I'll put it down in a box.
Oh, nice.
But this was my reaction.
You're a separator. But you know what I think? I think it's time for people with all different backgrounds to come together. But what I really think, Mr. Cena, I think it's time for you to lose that United States title to someone who will do more with it than you ever have. Now, with that said, I want to introduce you to your opponent and the next United States Heavyweight Champion.
Jack Swagger.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Alberto.
Oh shit! Oh shit! He's back! Holy shit! There's no way in hell this is going on right now. Oh!
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like that was everybody.
Oh! So
that's
yeah,
awesome.
that was my reaction. Again, if I will put the audio of that on the post production, and if you're on YouTube, you'll see the little box. If you haven't seen the video already, but we'll get more into the science of Zeb and Del Rio coming up.
But I definitely, but like right when they came out together, it took me a second, but then I was like, I want to see. I think we'll get into it. But well, I think like this is a great storyline because like okay, we all know the real storyline about how he left with the racist remarks, slapping him in the face and bailing. Okay, so there's already that real storyline there, and I mean everyone likes a guy who stands up for what they believe in, and you already have Zeb Coulter being like the kind of like
bigot.
Yeah, the guy who would say those things in the first place in storyline. So reenact that in front of the camera, and then you would have like how Heyman sent Brock after CM Punk. I mean, I think Lex Luger sent like Cactus Jack and Abdullah the Butcher out for Sting in WCW back in the day. So then you have this guy who can then create another heel faction versus your big time Hispanic draw. Going into Texas at WrestleMania and going into the Mexican market. I mean, he left the AAA title land, so I feel like this is this could be awesome. What they're going to...
Let's talk about the match and go into the dynamic when we talk about Raw, because they actually introduced themselves on Raw, so I can actually look at more and nitpick and give you my overview of what it is. The match itself, the only thing that stood out to me was two things. It was super fucking quick match, super quick. I think the pop itself from me, it wore thin because at the end I go, wow, all right, this is WWE again. He's not that exciting. He hasn't been that exciting of a wrestler before he left. Del
Rio?
Yeah, he was someone that bored me, because he was always going up against Sheamus and he was always going up against Randy Orton, and it was not a lot of dynamic. He's a guy. He's a striker. He's not as much of a wrestler as he is like this striker. Like Roman Reigns wants to be Alberto Del Rio with the strikes. You know what you think about it, you know, and with definitely more wrestling ability. But he wasn't able to apply his armbar. He won with a kick to the face. He won with a backstabber and a kick to the face, clean 1, 2, 3. And I was like, wow, really? This guy's kicking out of pile drivers and F5s, and a kick to the face is going to take him out. Now, I don't know if that made Sheamus look stupid. It's damn sure didn't make him look weak. But it would damn sure would have been interesting if they would have played with the idea of Cena possibly tapping out to that armbar. And he lost to a kick to the face because he was going to lose the belt. He damn sure wasn't going to tap out because you know why? Cena never gives up. And that was the only dynamic within this match that really bothered me. Because I knew he wasn't going to tap. I mean, moving forward, Del Rio is going to make people tap. I mean, other than say what happened Monday, but moving forward, he's going to make.
You'd like to see him as that strong character that taps people out.
He's making people tap. That's his whole thing.
Yeah.
See.
What'd you think about? They said something. I saw this thing on Twitter where it was just like in Hell in Cell 2013, John Cena came back and defeated Del Rio for the world title, and in 2015, Del Rio comes back and defeats John Cena for the U.S. title, and arguably a way better story arc and a way better, like way more over of a match. So I think that shows you like
that's bold. That's a bold statement.
I mean, I don't think people got really excited when John Cena came back because it's still John Cena. A segment of the crowd is never going to like him. Where Del Rio came back, people saw him, oh, this is this guy that's in this Lucha Underground guy. I think him leaving is the best thing for him because he would have drowned it, like you said, in that mid-card hell. And but him leaving, he got viewed as a champion. He got viewed in AAA. For anyone who saw him, saw him as a champion.
We got to wait and see. I will say before we move forward, I am.
We both got this one wrong.
This is suspect. This is suspect. I'm not 100% on board the Mex Americans. I'm not on board this ship. I'm not, especially where he came from in terms of let's just say how hot of a product he was, and then his scripting and his positioning with AAA and Lucha Underground. It's gonna be weird, this transition back to just one of the boys in the back versus a guy who was positioned as this larger than life guy. He's not gonna be larger than life in WWE. It's just not gonna happen. So, and then this weird storyline, and I'll dissect it. How I feel about this moving forward. Yes, I speak about it in Peter's Raw recap. And by the way, thanks for the people who actually been watching that.
Oh, yeah. And then we moved on.
But yeah, Cena goes away, and that's how he goes away. I thought he was going to I thought he would keep the belt, but he goes away, and with a kick to the face for 6 weeks.
And I don't think they really want to report that Cena's going to be gone because they want people. I guess Cena does make people tune in, so if they don't know Cena's not going to be there, and then they end up watching and being entertained, that's one thing. But they don't want to advertise that he's gone. And I don't think they did. They didn't say anything about him being injured or anything. They just kind of
we're going into Raw. Let's talk about Raw.
But then next match was Bray and Roman in Hell in the Cell. This match was very slow paced, I would say. But I thought they did some creative spots. I don't know if they were very effective or like got as much heat as they were trying to get out of him. But like I've never seen anyone put the weapons in the cell. That's a great utilization of the cell, I think. Or since you can't do these obvious things they used to do, and then when the kendo stick spot at the end where he smashed Bray's face. There's one little nitpicky thing that happened later, but I'll get into that when that happens. But I thought this was an overall all right match. I mean, it's kind of one of the two cell matches on the show, and it was like second in the show, so they kind of had a weird spot. But I think the crowd liked it. And they definitely had to have a lot of weapons and stuff to get it over, but it did get over. And we both picked Roman, so we both got a tally for that.
I tuned out, honestly. I spent more time uploading my reaction to Del Rio than paying attention to this match, and I'm just being straight up.
No, that's cool.
Because LOL, Roman wins. Because that's really what it is to me. I mean, you gotta have like all this Hell in a Cell. You had two factors. Roman Reigns is going to win. Sorry. Bray Wyatt was going to lose.
Yeah.
Roman was going over, and they were going to play second fiddle of a Hell in a Cell match to the Brock and Undertaker. And when we get to Brock and Undertaker, you understand why. Even in my prediction, I was like, ain't gonna be no blood. They're not gonna do anything. They're just gonna smack each other around and make up for the fact that they're held back because the Undertaker and Brock are actually going to give the real Hell in a Cell match. They shouldn't have never been in a Hell in a Cell match in the first place. I tune out. Again, LOL. Roman wins. And we move on to the next match. I have absolutely nothing more to say about this.
All right. I feel like, yeah, we'll move on. I think it was then the Divas match, right? You picked Nikki, I picked Charlotte. Charlotte won. I really liked. I think Nikki definitely held her own. I was gonna say, but I guess before we like.
It's an awesome match. She gave a great match.
Yeah,
she carried the match actually.
I don't remember it really.
Oh yeah, she was putting on. I
remember thinking it was good, but I don't remember.
Yeah, Nikki carried the match. She actually put on most of the offense, a lot of the innovation, a lot of like different things that happened within the ring was assisted via Nikki, and it was almost as Charlotte followed suit. And then when she applied whatever move she had, it seems like that was like the comeback, and it wasn't that much of a comeback. The last part was very much interesting. I think just watching the babyface Charlotte Flair, that is, come over adversity. But it's what it is. She retained. And plus, you have to take consideration, there was no one at ringside. Nobody, like, Bree didn't get a check. Alicia didn't get a check. Paige didn't get a check. Or Becky Lynch didn't get a check. And that sucks. For them. They should have been at ringside. That would actually added more. That would have added a little more personality to the match itself. To hear, "Come on, Nikki! Come on, Nikki! Come on, Nikki!" On the outside, and hearing like, "Come on, Charlotte!" And just hearing Becky Lynch just smack the thing. It would have added a little more charisma. Those girls was out there, basically on an island. You know.
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I didn't think about that. I like the what's it called? The apron spot or the side of the ring bump.
Oh, the Alabama Slam.
Yeah,
which looks way more vicious than the actual power bomb. It looked because you're going up and down with the power bomb.
When you're also going the side of the ring there.
Yeah, you're coming around and forward onto that, which is I'm like, oh my God, Charlotte is broken in half. Could you imagine? Give me a power bomb on an apron all day before you give me an Alabama Slam on an apron.
I don't want to take any of those from those athletes. So then, Charlotte wins. I get the tally. I'm going up 3-2 on Peter there. And then we go into, wasn't it the New Day versus the Dudleys? He picked the Dudleys. I picked the New Day. I remember Xavier Woods wasn't out there. Mm-hmm. They're going full unicorn on us. They got the shirt. They're talking about, they're saying throw your unicorns up. It was an alright match, but I got to be honest, I watched a lot of wrestling and nothing really of this match stands out to me.
Watching Big E come into his own. Like he's becoming more of it. Like he's finally found himself as a performer. Kofi Kingston working as a heel is fucking entertainment. I mean, that guy really lets loose. And for the most part, I thought the fact that Xavier Wood wasn't going to be out there, which I predicted, was going to be the main factor. But once going into this match, I was like, I do not want the fucking. It's not that I wanted the New Day not to have the belts. I just didn't want I don't want the Dudley Boys wearing those belts.
I think if they wear them, then that does create a whole new thing. Like the team we were just talking about, Sheamus, Barrett.
Yeah, I want them to have the belts before the Dudleys.
It's got to go to a face. They got to have the face component there. And I think if the Dudleys do have it, then they can feud with the Wyatts, and they can feud with the Sheamus, Rusev, Barrett contention. So there does make fresh matchups, but I just think that the New Day is definitely the hottest tag team. Keep it on them. Let them have a run. And that's why I picked them.
They're changing them up, though.
Yeah, they're changing up. They are changing them up.
They're changing them up, and not for the best, but definitely not.
There was utilization of the trombone. It stayed with them, but it did not show up on Raw.
Oh, it's gone now.
Yeah, I think it might have.
It's completely gone. I predicted.
It might have burned up in hell. They brought it up.
Well, he hit Bubba with half of it.
Yeah,
so. But nevertheless, the Dudleys they should just go away right now, honestly.
They just came back. I don't think they're going to do that. But, but their reactions have depleted. If you watch, they were quiet in LA for this. LA is normally a notoriously quiet crowd and everything, but they were super. They were. I think they were vocal for the whole show when they wanted to be, but they did not want to be vocal for the Dudley Boys. And then on Raw, the reaction was bad.
And very much because it's West Coast. You have to take into consideration.
Yeah, ECW and the East Coast and everything.
Yeah, they are New York, Philly affiliates, and they're gonna get, and maybe Chicago a little bit just because of their hardcore fanship. But you get over that Hudson River, and the Dudley Boys are, they're crickets. That's just the nature of the nature of the beast.
Well, the nostalgia pop can only last for so long, remember Kevin Nash's reactions a few Royal Rumbles ago compared to his feud with CM Punk. It's day and night. But I guess moving on now, we got.
But I would say one thing, just like the Divas Championship match, and no presence on the outside. The fact that Xavier Wood wasn't on the outside,
big missing, especially for the New Day.
Yeah. So if this feud continues, and it seemed like it got blown off, but let's just say they still think they have a chance to win the championships, and we're talking about three-man contingent Survivor Series coming up, the return of Xavier Wood. Do we get Spike? Is there a possibility? Is there a possibility that Spike Dudley returns?
I definitely would like it. I like that dynamic. It's a little guy that bumps would be pretty cool. Maybe.
I'm watching him and Xavier Wood go, toe to toe on the outside. I think it would be interesting. I think
he would get. Xavier Wood shines a little more than Spike would.
Well, Spike was the charisma of the Dudley Boys. Dudley Boys only got the 3D and a table. Spike was a fucking house of fire, man.
Yeah, but they were.
I could almost compare Spike to what's the little dude? Enzo. He's like
Enzo. Yeah.
He was Enzo before Enzo.
Yeah, well,
but in a different way. But just like this little dude who had a big heart, he wrestled with as if he was fucking a giant, and he had total charisma. He was so over, but I think he had demons. I think that's what fucked him up, right? He had issues.
Oh, I don't know. I know he was a former teacher before he was Spike Dudley. So maybe he's doing that now. I know he's does indies up until a few years ago, but I don't know what he's doing.
Okay, it's just something I thought of.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be good. That'd be a good.
Then we had the world title match. We both picked Rollins, so we both got a tally on that one.
That's all I gotta say. About
I would be up 5, and he went to 3.
That filler shit. Get it out of there.
Rollins definitely busts his ass every title defense, but he can only do so much with the writing, and then also how they're having him lose, like they did on the Madison Square Garden show, and then a few times on Raw. So
don't count the Madison Square Garden show.
He did lose.
I know, but I don't. Him losing in the lumberjack match was more of a head scratcher than him at house show.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying. My point was that he busts his ass. Like, even I know you told me not to mention the Madison Square Garden show, but if you watch that, he jumped off the top of the cage. If you watch Seth Rollins, he will try to steal the show. He is now, I would say, the Shawn Michaels of it. He is the showstopper. He's got the belt. He's a smaller heel, and he's got the in-ring ability to warrant the belt. They just need to get behind him a little more, and I think they got to give him wins against the veterans like they did with Kane. I have no problem with this.
You know what? I would almost accept him losing matches if they backed off the chicken shit heel champ thing. You know? Like, if they just backed off the chicken shit heel thing just a touch, I could accept him losing matches. Because you know what? As a chicken shit heel, you win at all costs. And desperately. But he's not, I mean, he's been put in position to win at all cost. But as champion, he should have more demeanor, just like at the end of last Monday's Raw, where it's like, he's the man. I mean, he was the man in this match. Nothing about this match showcased that he was a chicken shit heel. He won clean. It's probably the first clean victory that he's had since having the belt. Nothing screwy at all. He just beat him. You know, nothing wrong with that. But just carry that momentum as a badass and not just curl up when Roman Reigns is staring in your face. It's not like he's a little guy. Him and Roman Reigns are eye to eye.
Well, yeah, but he screwed over Roman Reigns, man. He doesn't want to, you know.
Well, when you think Roman Reigns would have actually made a point of that last Monday, not Monday, but the Monday before when he joined back for that shitty.
Well, they had no time. They brought him right out, and they were giving him shit. Like they slapped the belt away and everything.
Yeah, but that was more or less. That's more or less like.
Yeah, they should. I mean, I think we mentioned
tit for tat silliness than it was festivity.
Yeah, they should have jumped him. They should have done a little more. They should have already had this feud right after Mania.
They should have shunned him that entire time. They should have just not tagged him. Just get the fuck away from me, man.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely should have done that. But we go on to Owens and Ryback. This was definitely a sleeper. Real quick match.
Worst spot to be.
Owens wins with the powerbomb. This is the new Divas segment. I mean, past few years, obviously the Divas had that spot right before the main. And now it's the Intercontinental title. Interesting, but yeah, I think Owens and Ryback, maybe you want that match to be quick and impactful, but down the line, I definitely want to see Owens in the IC Championship in a longer, more drawn-out match on pay-per-views. But it was what it was. Owens won with the pop-up powerbomb, and we both picked Owens. So you got your 4, and then I got 6. Going into the main event, Undertaker versus Brock. Peter picked Taker. I picked Brock. I thought it was a great match.
The low blow!
You liked the match?
I loved it. I loved every second of it. But I cracked the code. And why Brock Lesnar bleeds. He has a blade right there on his fucking thing. He has a blade, like a little blade, right there on his fucking glove. Now, if you pay attention to that match...
Oh, well, that's how all wrestlers...
I know, but he ends up taking off that glove too because I think he was just like, all right, the blade has to go. But I don't know if this was something because I went in thinking hey man.
Well, they bled just like.
Well, I just thought. I mean, when you're Brock Lesnar and you're the Undertaker, you can yell, "I will kill you." You can get away with that. You have You have way more leeway than the average guy in the back. You know?
Yeah, no doubt.
And even against Vince McMahon's approval.
You believe those rumors to be true that Vince...
Fuck yeah, he doesn't want blood. Are you nuts? He does not want blood at all. They went rogue in that fucking ring.
There was controversy about them wiping the blood away.
Because no one expected it to happen.
Yeah, well, no, to have the guy come and wipe it away. And then Brock actually pushed that guy down.
Yeah. He was a prop.
But for me...
maybe that was a shoot.
I don't know. For me, I thought that was good because, Brock obviously pulls in the UFC fan base. If anyone's watching because of Brock, it's either they were a fan in 2002 or they're a UFC fan. And that's what they do in UFC if there's too much blood. So I did think it added, a little bit of realism to it, where a lot of people were booing. They didn't think it was that good. But I thought, if you're a new fan, you would expect something to happen like that. So then, yeah. Then to watch Brock be like, oh, he's turning it away. So that gives you the prop of pushing him away and making it seem more severe, even though you took away the visual.
Mm-hmm. But it's Hell in a Cell, and it softens it up. It's Hell in a Cell. It's not Hades. It's not heaven in a cell. It's not like anything else. It's about brutality, and it's about blood, and it's about guts, and it's about glory. And when you stop a match that's called Hell in a Cell, the cage itself, Hell in a Cell, it takes away from the legend that is Hell in a Cell. You know, imagine Shawn Michaels, and I understand new day and age, concussions, bleeding, sports entertainment. Could you imagine Shawn Michaels bleeding his fucking face off, and then some dude running in to wipe it off? Do you think we'd be talking about this match today if a guy ran in with rubber gloves, wiping off the blood of Shawn Michaels as he's bleeding profusely?
No, yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. There is an argument to be made for that.
But I love the match.
They
ripped the fucking floor up.
Yeah.
I mean, everything about this, the low blow, the return to low blow, fuck yeah. You know, Brock Lesnar is not a babyface. He's a win at all cost guy.
Yeah,
and you know something about Brock Lesnar? He's a vengeful fuck. That's one thing you know about him. Than anything, any of his characters. Any and everything he's ever done is about vengeance. He's vengeful, he's spiteful, and if you deliver it 9 times out of 10, he's going to give it right back to you.
No doubt.
The only thing they fucked up in his return was that whole goddamn John Cena crap. When he went up against John Cena had to beat him at TLC. That was TLC, wasn't it?
I think
over the limit. Over the fucking limit. That was the only screw up. Him getting punched with a chain and going down like a jabroni. Ever since then, they got it right. And he's been a vengeful...
He lost to Hunter a few times. I think that was bad.
But you know what? That didn't even exist. That didn't even exist.
Okay.
Hunter, what? I don't even consider him a relevant wrestler. Everyone's talking about him versus Seth Rollins. I'm like, I don't care. What the fuck is Triple H going to do that's going to woo me?
Oh, well, I think that would be a great because then that would turn Rollins. And he's already got the offense to be the face, you know.
I've been preaching that forever, though.
Well, yeah. Well, then I think that's a great way to do it. You can't. I don't know. I think that was a great way to do it.
If only Triple H does the job. If you replace Seth Rollins and WrestleMania, if you replace Daniel Bryan with Seth Rollins and him doing the job, then you know what? Kudos.
I think he will do the job because I think Triple H sees Seth Rollins and the Rollins character as a bit of his baby. So I think it's pretty much the only way you can get Triple H to warrantly lose.
Even Stevens, though, man. It's going to go 3 matches. That's not going to be a one and done. That's going to go 3 matches. And Seth is going to get a victory, and Triple H is going to get a victory. And then you'll probably get the blow-off at SummerSlam. You know what I'm saying? So it's not...
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's SummerSlam. But if we're building to Mania, and that was a match on Mania, I think that would be...
You watched this show, right? You watched this show. Because the last time I checked, when feuds happen, they happen in 3s. Now, if you want to build towards Mania, you also have to build towards SummerSlam. And you have to get through 3 fucking matches.
No, I think it's all hands on deck. How can we get 100,000 people in this spot for WrestleMania? And I think that's a great mid-card match.
Yeah, I'm not against it. I just go, well, it's not the grand opening, grand closing of that.
I think it would be the grand opening.
Oh, fuck yeah, it's going to be a grand opening. And Triple H is going to get a win out of it.
Nah, he would not, because then he would have to have the belt. Or unless they put the belt on.
Oh, Roman Reigns is going to get that belt.
Oh, yeah? Well...
Yeah, and Brock Lesnar is going to win the Royal Rumble.
Well, and then it'll be the same... Oh, hey, I mean, we'll get into it. We kick off... This was a great Raw, I thought.
Shit, it is Raw, huh?
I thought it was a great Raw, man.
I thought it was great for... If you are a wrestling fan, and you're just completely over everything that happened in the past 4 months, you love this show. It was the ultimate blow-off show.
Well, Hell in a Cell was supposed to be there to end rivalries, and I feel like it did. It ended rivalry, and then it kind of rehashed another one that I feel like is very fitting for. I mean, I know it sounds cheesy, but very fitting for this time of year. You know, like Wyatt's versus Taker and the Brothers of Destruction in a Survivor Series matchup. So it's fitting for the Halloween type setting for the build, and then the Survivor Series match that I think it's going to build to.
So we're going to start off with talking about this. This is what we're going to start off with.
Well, we didn't really mention that the Wyatts, if you're living under a wrestling rock, the Wyatts did come out and take out Undertaker and kidnap him pretty much.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot to bring that up. Yeah.
Well, that's what happened, and I thought that was a great.
Someone posted on the Salamasa Sound Off page. It's like, see. this looks like a decimation, but in fact, this is a rib. I'm worn out. Carry me to my room. He's like, even in a beatdown, he still goes over on the young talent. Carry me. I'm not walking to my room. Are you insane? You're gonna carry me to my room. So I just thought that was funny. I thought that was really, really hilarious.
That's good. That was good. Yeah, I know he's reportedly collapses at the end of matches too backstage. So yeah, there might be some truth.
That'll carry me
to the back. But I thought this is a great way to do it. Even though you had to have Roman go over to justify the number one title contention shot. But I think it would have been better if they had Bray, win a match and then look strong against The Undertaker. But now it looks like he kind of just gave up on Roman and now is turning back to The Undertaker. But with all that said, the angle that they did in the ring was great, and how they continued it I think was great. And building to a Survivor Series match is a good storyline, a good main event storyline to hide the elephant in the room that Cena's not there.
They're gonna throw Undertaker in to cover up Cena.
There's already talks about him being at the European tour that's happening without Cena.
Well, he was in Mexico. He was
in Mexico, and you know who the Brothers of Destruction versus the Wyatts. So then,
I know, man, but I'll say this. I'll say this, and I'll leave it alone. We've seen this before. We've seen Undertaker get taken out after whatever match, whether it's WrestleMania like the night before. Because you remember when the Shield took him out?
Yeah.
Nothing came of it.
But they played into it tonight on Raw, or that night on Raw.
What night? I'm talking about when the Shield took out.
Yeah, I know.
On SmackDown.
Yeah, you said they took him out and that nothing came of it, but I'm saying that something is going to come of it this time because they played into it on this Raw.
We'll see, man. I mean, I don't want to see a lot of the old man. I don't want to see a lot of the old man.
I mean, the popular theory now is that it's a good way to bring out old stars like Sting.
Fuck that. How about you fucking focus WWE? I know you watch and listen to this shit. How about you focus on your fucking young stars now to make them worth tuning in for?
If the Wyatt family beats Sting, Kane, Undertaker, and maybe a Randy Orton or a Dean Ambrose, that will make him a star, and then that would help shoot up Dean Ambrose.
No one's gonna be a star, Jake. No, be a star, my ass. Well, be a hand on deck. That's all you are. And you know what? After that, you're going to be thrown in a ring, put on some pink, and smile. Face, heel, even if you're the most dastardly heel, you're nothing. You're nothing. You're nothing. You know?
I know
Undertaker, go the fuck away. And honestly, and I mean no disrespect, but go the fuck away. You're holding up all this valuable time and space. We need you in certain spots.
Well, the WWE is calling him back. He's not.
With
the Mexican tour and then the rumors of the European tour and then doing more matches until Mania, that's WWE asking for him to come back to help the low ratings.
They're putting themselves in a fucking corner.
They are. Well, I think the Wyatt family is.
And as a fan,
I feel like we'll get into it later on the show. The Authority come out and pretty much introduce a show-long storyline with a four-way to there'll be a fatal four-way as the main event, number one contender shot, and there's going to be preliminary matches to get into this four-way.
I don't want to examine the matches. I just who went over who.
I didn't.
Oh no! I'm just saying in general, moving forward.
I feel like
because I feel like the fatal four-way is probably the more important than the actual preliminaries.
Yeah, and most definitely, the Final Four would be more important. But the point I was trying to make with all these is all these matches were fucking great. Kofi Kingston got a great match out of Roman Reigns to start things off, and then of course,
LOL.
But
Reign wins.
Cesaro versus Kevin Owens in the second match. Fucking amazing match. I mean, obviously,
internet. I think that was an internet rib. You take the darlings. They're both darlings. They are darlings. Why are you going to put those guys up against each other? And plus, they've already had a feud.
Why are you going to put them up against each other?
Because you know what? Because I think respectively, they hold weight in their own respective, who they are as superstars on the roster.
Did you like how Cesaro grabbed the Cesaro section sign, ran all the way around the ring to give the uppercut? It was Uppercut City. It was Uppercut City.
But it doesn't matter. He lost.
Amazing.
He lost. He fucking lost. And he lost to a guy that shouldn't have lost either. Or, and vice versa. They should just, even on SmackDown when they had that little feud, and I think Owens won every single match between the two of them. It's just like, keep those guys away from each other. Have them meet at some point down the road, But and then boom, okay, Kevin Owens goes over, but at the expense of Cesaro. And if it was the other way around, I feel the same way. Boom, Cesaro goes over at the expense of Owens. I just go, no, man, these are darlings. Like, I would have much rather seen Cesaro go down to Reigns and Kofi go down to Owens than what we got. You see what I'm saying?
Kinda, man. I thought this match was great, man. I'm never going to complain about this match. Give it to me every week. That's what I'm saying. And
Cesaro's going to keep losing. And I know wins and losses doesn't really mean anything to a certain extent, but fuck that. And they do after a while. Punk even said it in his...
Yeah, they do.
What's his name? That guy? But after a while, they start to add up. And it's like, if you don't save face, people are just going to, regardless of how many uppercuts and how many Cesaro signs out there, people are going to start actually distancing themselves from Cesaro. It's just the nature of the beast. No one loves a loser.
That's true. And then I guess we'll just go with this, play out this storyline. Zeb and Del Rio cut a promo in the back, and you want to speak of it? They did it before their match.
It's the yin and the yang. What's happening right now is actually we're getting the ironic togetherness, hold hands and sing Kumbaya of Zeb Coulter. Now, I don't know whether they're trying to rehash maybe a future feud with Swagger, because that was his manager, and Alberto Del Rio, and the gimmick that they had when they were actually opposed to each other, where they were the conservative heel Fox News people, and now even when he rolled out, it was like, I have a new perspective on life. I feel like all people just like, where did that come from? The enlightened Zeb Coulter, but Del Rio is not a babyface here. He is an asshole to where he's just like, it takes him a while to shake Zeb Coulter's hand. It's almost as like he's just riding the wave to get to the belt somehow, to move up in the thing. Zeb Coulter himself is a shotgun to the top of the card, and when he's talking about, we're going to go about, we need to tear down these borders, we need to do all this, we need to do all that, which is like, against, say, his old faction with the Real Americans and Jack Swagger. They get over to Del Rio. Del Rio's like, I'm not going to let some immigrant peasant, the likes of Neville, stand in my way of a championship. And I go, what the fuck is this shit?
That's
so
true,
you got this guy who's basically a borderline, no pun intended, borderline sort of Mexican bigot.
Yeah,
so, and
I thought that was very strange. And I don't know if that was maybe a rib on Neville. That's what I thought about. I was like, well, maybe he said something to him one time in the back that was like a dick thing to say, or came across like
no. His character Del Rio is a bad guy.
Yeah. Sure.
He's back as I popped because I was excited, but I was like, there's no way he's gonna come back as a babyface, because they already have their roster of babyfaces that they're gonna push. Especially one of which is Roman Reigns, Demon Kane, and if they keep the Undertaker around, that's enough baby faces to fill in enough storyline, right?
Yeah.
Until you get down to mid-card hell, and he's a jerk, and he's coming back as a jerk, and even though he's over, I think this position of him being a lone wolf, I feel like his comeback is going to be a waste. He's a lone wolf guy. He doesn't have he's reading a fucking teleprompter. He doesn't have, you look at Lucha Underground and you see how he's scripted, and how the character itself is just getting over. And then you have these, Tejano and, all these matches with Johnny Mundo and these fucking epic matches where he's a real big deal. His accolades are spoken through the entire time, and you're just like, wow, this guy's a big fucking deal. And he comes back, and it's like, well, what are they going to do with this guy? Like, they're going to fucking have him in a weird yin-yang storyline with the guy who used to be a bigot. Now he's the bigot, and it's all in the storyline. They put the U.S. belt on him, means nothing. That belt was always about John Cena. It was always about John Cena. He has his U.S. belt. He's an ex-WWE guy, 3-time. He's reading the teleprompter with dumb lines, and it's all a setup to match up against Jack Swagger again.
I don't think it's going to be Jack Swagger. I think it's going to definitely be Cena when he comes back.
I hope it's...
But
what if he brings back Cesaro? What if he goes, he rolls out on a match...
What do you mean, Zeb?
You say they're trying to build this...
No, that's what I think. That's what I think. I think you're supposed to look at this and be like, fuck this. Like, I don't like... You either liked Zeb before and are mad that his character changed, or you like Del Rio and you're pissed that he left because he slapped a guy for making racist Mexican comments. I think that's a storyline that is out there.
That's a little too kayfabe. A little too breaking.
I agree, but I think him leaving, and I think.
But it was so great for him to leave.
Yeah, and it was great for him to leave to come back. So because
where's that momentum? That's all I'm saying. Give me that momentum of his return.
I think it's gonna. I think it's happening, man. It was only one time. I mean, he was in the main event tonight. He wrestled a great match against Neville, and JBL did not shy away from mentioning that he had the AAA Mega title, which I thought was a.
And they didn't put over enough the fact that he beat John Cena. They did not put it over enough. I
think they were scared to mention John Cena's name because then people would be like, "Where is he at?" And then
he just beat the guy who never loses, clean as fuck, in the middle of the ring, kick to the face. This is a big fucking deal. U.S. Open Challenge champion. This guy just beat John Cena. It's like, that's the guy who beat John Cena. That's the guy to beat John Cena. Let's put this over. It is a big deal.
Yeah, no doubt. I didn't think about that, but that's definitely a point they should have hit on.
I think they mentioned it once.
And then Del Rio won by tying up Neville in the ropes, and then he went for that jumping spot that
the double stomp to the fucking grill because his leg got caught. Yeah,
Baylor does it a lot, and I mean now Del Rio does it here, and it's an amazing spot. I'm sure a lot of people who haven't seen that before. It looked really nasty. I mean, I've seen it a bunch, and it looked nasty. And then Del Rio is
no arm bar tap out.
Yeah, then Del Rio is the guy to move things forward. And then the last and final...
Big E versus Ziggler.
Yeah, I thought this was... a crowd kind of took a dip here with the involvement, and this is when I think the New Day is really missing Xavier Woods. Because Kofi did a great job on the ring, accusing Ziggler of cheating and stuff like that, but I definitely think that role is for Xavier Woods, and I'm missing him. I think he needs to come back. Because
I miss you. I miss you.
What'd you think of this match, Peter?
What? Oh yeah, I mean it's cool seeing Big E.
And Breeze was out there like we already talked
VIP.
about.
I mean, I just wrote Breeze at ringside and VIP zigzag.
What did you think of Big E taking a drink of Breeze's glass? I thought
it was dumb.
It was dumb.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I just don't agree. Whatever. Ziggler moves on. I mean, you look at this all together, right? And you look at what's happening. And even to the Fatal 4-Way, which is the U.S. champion, the Intercontinental champion. He just won the fucking U.S. belt, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, let's put this fuck over. Sorry, I got a fucking world championship. Granted. Who wouldn't want to just get that fucking big gold? But you just won the U.S. championship, and you already put it to the side. Intercontinental belt. You're in the ring. You just had your first title defense. Successful, and you're already putting it aside, right? If either Kofi or Big E would have got in there, you would have had one of the tag team champions in the match. So you got the Intercontinental, you got the U.S. Who else? You have who the other guys?
Oh, you would have Roman Reigns and Ziggler.
Roman Reigns, who's the chosen one, mm-hmm. and Ziggler, who is an ex-champion. So
Rollins on commentary. This was the main event of the night.
And fucking Roman Reigns just swallows them all. He puts all the matches, he swallows them whole. The only thing, if either Big E or Big E, let's just say Big E and fucking, if Kofi was in there, he would have beaten all the champions. He beat the Intercontinental.
Well, he already beat Kofi. So
I know. I'm just saying. He beat all the champions. He basically swallowed all the mid card belts. He just said, good stuff.
Well, who did he pin here? He pinned
Owens.
Owens, yeah. This was a great match, though. I feel like there was not a bad match on this show
until he disappeared. Roman's vanished for like 5 minutes.
Well, that's how it works. I really thought there's a few great spots between Del Rio and Owens here. That would be a great feud or anything to those two guys. I know they're both heel and everything, but I really liked when Owens tried to do the running senton, but Del Rio moved. Then later on in the match, Owens hit the senton to Ziggler, then ran to hit the senton to Del Rio, simultaneously colliding with Roman Reigns, hitting the big double stomp to Del Rio, taking him out, and then it goes to Owens versus Roman. Crowd super hot for these two to get at it.
Well, the crowd's just hot for Reigns altogether.
Yes,
very Reigns positive.
He goes for a pop-up powerbomb, Owens does, and he gets caught with the Superman punch into the spear. LOL, Roman Reigns wins.
They're gonna change that. They're gonna change the music.
This is a great match, though. You can say what you will about the storyline between how they should have done Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns up until this point, but the fact of the matter is I do think that a lot of people will still want to see Roman Reigns get at Seth Rollins in a one-on-one match. We've never seen it, and I think that's a good Survivor Series main event to coincide with this Taker-Wyatt feud that we're watching.
He's never cared, so why should I care?
Roman
Reigns, he's never cared that Seth Rollins fucked him.
Well, he had to, Wyatts were chasing his daughter and beating up his best friend. That's
fine, but all of this would have been avoided if he would have won the belt.
Yeah, I agree, but I think that's what's coming up. I think because
this whole thing is anyone but you. That's why they was chasing him, because it's like, nah, dude, not you, anyone but you. So if he would have had the belt, he wouldn't have had to worry about Bray Wyatt hating on him.
Yeah.
All this climb. Because here's the thing about Roman Reigns. Everything about Roman Reigns. Every time Roman Reigns has a path to the belt, someone screws him out of it. Yeah. Someone always screws him out.
Dean cut that promo talking about that.
And I'm just saying, who gets in the way now? Does he win the belt? That's all speculation. But what? So someone else stands on his way to the belt? Is this his role until he finally wins it? Because even if he wins it, it's too soon.
We're going to one of the big four here. We're going into Survivor Series. They're going to do all hands on deck here. And I think Roman Reigns, yes, he is pretty bad in the ring, but he's the guy that they chose. And I think that they put this story arc together to get him the belt. And I think it's a good one. I think Rollins can hold his own. Rollins can make any match good.
Of course. But again, Mr. Kick Slap, Punch Kick Slap.
Yeah,
he's Golden Child. I just go until you just give me a headlock or something. Give me a headlock, man. And yeah, you everyone's like, oh, just like last year's WrestleMania. Oh, he getting beat down. He's gaining respect from the crowd. I'm even guilty of saying that. I'm even feeling that way. But fuck that. I don't want him to be this sympathetic figure. I don't want to see him as a sympathetic figure. He's too big. He's too gorgeous. Fuck him. The only thing that could happen worse is actually it wasn't him. It wasn't Dolph Ziggler that actually got up with Lana, but fucking Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
You want to pile on why I should feel bad for this guy. He looks like $1 million, right? He's fucking just a freak of nature. Look at me. I ain't no Roman Reigns, and I ain't nowhere close to no Roman Reigns. So if he can't win a goddamn championship, boo fucking who? He's winning at life.
No, yeah, I think that's the point that a lot of people. He got booed out of the arena when he won the Royal Rumble. Yeah.
Boo-hoo, Tom Brady, Deflategate. I don't feel sorry for him. He's married to fucking Giselle. He's a fucking NFL multi-champion. He's gorgeous. How does he become a victim?
Yeah, you're totally right. I think you're doing a very good job of articulating the hesitancy of cheering for him in the first place. I mean, we cheered for him when he was with the Shield because, I mean, I think everyone liked Dean and people liked the way Rollins, did all the flips and everything. And then Roman was just there to do the power move. But then once he split, we were like, where are the flips? Where's Dean? We lost everything that we cheered for Roman Reigns with in the first place. And then, of course, like Vince is sitting back saying, look at him. He looks great. He's, nephew of The Rock. Like, why don't he
open up a dictionary and look for the phrase "looks like $1 million"? There's a picture of fucking Roman Reigns sitting right there, and he has the legacy. He has the legacy. He has the background of The Rock and all that shit. I'm The Rock's cousin, all that stuff. I don't know, dude. It just gets old. I mean, it's just like, okay, we get it. He's the chosen one, but like book him in a means. Don't put a mic in his hand, and hell, just went about it all wrong. He's almost like when the Shield broke up, he like kept the uniform and he kept the fucking entrance. It's almost as if he was in some sort of like Stockholm syndrome.
He is not evolved. Yeah, he's definitely not evolved since the Shield. Where if you look at, Seth Rollins is the world champion. I feel like no one, when you hear Seth Rollins' name, you have to be reminded he was with the Shield. I mean, Dean's a little bit less like that, but at least he comes out with the jeans and the wife beater, and he's crazy. You know a little bit more about Dean, now. But yeah,
who's a glorified cheerleader right now? He's a cheerleader.
Yeah, he should come out with pom poms. But going on,
maybe it's in his bag with his slinky and his. You didn't see that segment, did you, on SmackDown?
No, I didn't.
They did a whole payday like they did Paige on that Monday, and him like pulling stuff out of his bag, and he pulls out like handcuffs, slinky. He pulls out like a air balloon, an animal balloon. He just pulls out all this shit, right? And I'm thinking pom pom should have been in that bag along with all that garbage. But it was like the whole payday. Who's the whatever unconventional?
Like digressing through the rest of Raw here. What do you think of Miz's segments about the video game and then Stone Cold coming out? I feel like that was a great segment. Obviously shot last week when Stone Cold was there.
I love Miz. Miz is probably at this point in time, again, he's the most effective heel on the roster, and I just like him, man. He delivers. Miz TV, I love Miz TV. I like how he performs in Miz TV. Even what happened with Tyler Breeze when Tyler Breeze is beating down Dolph Ziggler. He's outside, like kind of rooting it on a little bit. Just everything about him, I think it works. And what even worked even so great about this segment, and this probably everyone overlooks this. I don't know. I haven't heard anyone say one word about this. This was post Titus O'Neil. Like, Titus O'Neil, he cuts a great promo on cancer. All of the jabronis are in the ring with the cancer survivors, and no knock. Again, I feel my certain way about Susan G. Coleman. Titus O'Neil cuts a sick promo on cancer. He carried himself well. He's affected by it personally, so it came off more heartfelt than say when Reigns did it. I don't think he's had any issues with cancer. This guy has a direct. I think his mom, breast cancer. I think she's a survivor. But they shoot immediately to the Miz. And it's like, everyone's out there, not the Miz. I ain't got no time to be out there, for breast cancer awareness. I'm too busy playing video games. And I popped. I was like, yes, the Miz is awesome. The Miz, he got no time for that, And that's the one thing that stood out. And then when Stone Cold showed up, I really couldn't understand what he was talking about because I think the noise in the back was so loud. He just says something and whatever. The 2K16, are you gonna get that? That came out today.
No, I haven't gotten a video.
Sorry, that came out Tuesday. It dropped.
Yeah, Tuesday. I don't play video games.
You got an Xbox though, right?
I got an Xbox, but that's just like kind of just there for YouTube and Hulu, Netflix, the network.
Pornhub.
No, we don't have that. We don't have the subscription.
Yeah, but anything else? Let's jump into the.
Then we go into Charlotte and Team PCB versus the Bellas. Say what you will about the match. I thought it was an alright match, but it's at the end when Paige turns full heel.
Finally turns.
Yeah.
That's what I call a heel turn, baby. That's what I call a heel turn. But the thing is, it's hard to have a heel turn when the people are cheering it on, And it's like, fuck you. I don't want to see Paige. In this, she's losing clean to Nikki like that. She's being blamed for this. She's in a fucked up situation. She's in a down spiral in terms of her character. And the anti-diva Paige, who is in fact, a star to me. She's a nerd, but she has these moments of flashes. When she fucking just hauled off and whooped up on them, it was like, this is the Paige we want to see. And poor Charlotte, poor, placeholder Charlotte, and poor irrelevant Becky. It really showed. As they laid dead in the middle of the ring, the crowd are cheering. It's almost like a quarterback who's just like not really doing really well for your organization, and the fans are like, fuck this guy. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he goes down with an ACL tear.
Like if a Jay Cutler got hurt.
And then the crowd cheers.
Yeah.
That's what that reminded me of.
I can see how you say that, but I was excited to see the full turn. Like, here it was. Like, they did a good job building, making it obvious, making us want to see it, and then it happened. And I think it's going to be a great match. I think Paige versus Charlotte's going to be a great match.
Paige,
Charlotte, Nikki will be a great match.
No. We can't give them that quite yet. I think there's time for that.
Oh, I think that's going to be at Survivor Series.
You need Nikki. You need at this point in time Paige versus Becky.
Oh, well, I think that's going to be on the weeks to come, building to the pay-per-view.
Yeah, but they need to go at it for quite some time. They need to go at it for some time. I just feel like...
How long is the build?
Because, it's not like Paige is the number one contendership for the belt. And if the belt is not on the line, Charlotte does not need to be in that feud. It's that simple.
Oh, I think the belt's going to be on. I think they're going to put the belt on the line.
No, Paige she's nowhere close to the number one contender. She's nowhere close. Right now, she's just mad. The number one contender right now, the closest to a number one contender or someone who needs to be in line for that belt is either Naomi versus Charlotte. Either has to be someone from Team Bad. It's that simple.
I think you're thinking about it more than them. I think that they just were like, okay, here it is. This is what it's going to be. I think.
No. Paige has been on a losing streak, and she lost to the number one contender. She's done nothing to earn a number one contendership. Right now, you're dealing with a heel turn, a Paige turn on her faction. So there's inner turmoil. But Charlotte, with that belt, because that was the last complaint about Nikki holding it. She never defended it because no one was ever a number one contender for it, honestly. Charlotte became a number one contender because she won the liberty to become the number one contender. If she just jumps into a feud, it's not going to be for the belt. Paige does not deserve the belt.
We got a few weeks to build, and
she better go up against Nikki. Against Becky.
I think she's probably gonna beat Becky. She might beat even someone from Team Bella, and she's probably gonna beat someone from Team Bad.
Push the Bellas to the side, bring in Team Bad, put in the face Sasha Banks of Charlotte Flair. This is her golden opportunity. This is the opportunity for her to be there. If not Sasha Banks, bring in Naomi. Let Naomi go down in flames.
That would be a great storyline, but it just doesn't seem like that's what they're gonna do.
Of course, it's not what they're gonna do. Yeah. Who fucking knows what they're gonna do with this fucking this de-evolution? It's a good thing that it's Diva Revolution. It's a de-evolution. That's what the fuck this is. And until they fucking the best thing that happened on the show tonight was that moment, by the way. And okay, the flashes of an actual Divas Revolution and giving solid storylines and having someone cheered because of character development, not just winning the belt, is Paige. Yeah. She can and Nikki playing the role that she's playing is definitely added to the element, but there's something missing. And we're missing someone who is an actual threat. Just someone who's just like decimates everyone. Like if Karma was still there or something.
Yeah.
You would think Tamina would fill in that void, but she stinks.
Yeah, she's like a Kali.
Yeah, but that's the only thing that's missing. Just someone who's just like, holy fuck.
We got a few weeks to build. I think that they're going to really put Paige over. I think she's really sinking her teeth into this new heel role. I think she likes being the heel. And yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I do think that they have been dropping the ball, but I think it's now at the point where, Charlotte versus Paige, I think this is going to be a great match.
We get Sheamus Rusev Barrett versus the Dudleys and Ryback. Two people who've moved on. I mean, you again talk about Mr. and Mrs. Blowoff. Sheamus, off a loss at the pay-per-view, they get this win after basically we get a showcase of the Dudleys and Ryback the entire match
each other's spots.
to a different to a certain extent, to where we get to a point in the match, maybe 3 minutes, and they're like, "Fuck this, Japanese style." Like, no tags. They would just fucking get in the ring. There were no more tags. I don't know if you remember seeing that, but they were just getting in, doing spots, and I was like, wait a minute, where's the tag? The ref is like, whatever, dude, whatever, fuck it. But it's just, it turned straight Japanese on your ass. ROH style, like lucha style, you know, like. So, but after all that showcase by the Dudleys, all that showcase by Ryback, you get Wade Barrett with a handful of fucking tights.
Yeah, distraction roll up.
Which is great for that faction.
Did you like Barrett's tuck and roll up the ramp when they won in victory?
That was great.
That was hilarious.
But nothing much to this, really.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, yeah, I really like these three together. But we're gonna have to see where it goes.
Jabroni losers at Dudley's and Ryback. They're jabroni losers yet again.
Mm-hmm. And the only thing left we have is Bray Wyatt's promo. He comes out and pretty much, says he's the what did he say? He's the apocalypse showed his face. So saying like he took out the Undertaker, he's killing the dead, and he says R.I.P. the Phenom. Then Kane comes out, the lights go out, and then in the ring are the rest of the Wyatts. I really like this storyline. I think it's going to be great. I like the whole feel of it.
I don't. We've been here before.
They took Kane.
This is stupid.
They took him to the back. Well, who's going to help? Who's going to help the Brothers of Destruction? I think it might be Sting. We might have like Sting.
When they carried his ass out, we've seen this before. They actually carried him out before, and nothing ever came of it. And it's like, we've been here before. Actually, the debut of Bray Wyatt was his
Kane, yeah.
was his feud with Kane, and it's like, you got the Undertaker. I don't know, man. They're at a standstill. They're at a fucking standstill with this Bray Wyatt character. This faction is great. I feel like they should just run shot on the entire card. Just destroy everybody. They're 4 deep. And they're big, they're mean, they're ugly, they're smelly. And you know what? It's enough of them to where... The hell? It's enough of them to where... they can actually spread out a storyline within each individual thing. I mean, I'm not saying like the Four Horsemen, but goddamn, they got themselves a little Four Horsemen right here.
Well, I think they do their job. I feel like there's definitely some work. I wouldn't compare them to the Four Horsemen.
I'm not comparing them. They're four guys. You got Mongo as in Strowman. You got Bray as in Flair, you got Arn Anderson and fucking Harper, and then you got
Dean Malenko is Eric Rowan.
Yeah.
That's
a lesser.
Yeah, the player. Yeah. Well, I see what you're saying. I think they all fill a role in this feud, and I think putting up.
Oh, gotta go. The darkness, the fear. You know what? Fuck that. Fuck all y'all. I'm gonna run shot through all y'all. What would make a great episode of Raw is that every segment, the fucking Wyatt family, one by one, would just go out and interfere and fuck with them all.
That's very WCW 2000.
Damn
Sid
straight.
Vicious of you.
Damn straight.
No, that doesn't. I don't think that needs to happen. But I do think that this needs to happen. And then there's been talk of Sting helping Undertaker and Kane, which would be great. And then I think if you just
don't bring back Sting for a while, please.
No, bring back Sting.
No, his neck, for one. I'm just saying his neck and shit.
Well, I mean, in this 8-man tag, he doesn't have to do much. And then...
but get away.
And putting Dean, I mean, not so much Randy Orton, but since you hinted that Randy Orton got taken out by the Wyatts, maybe not Sting, maybe Randy, but definitely get Dean involved in this match to give, the face rub by The Undertaker and Kane to Dean, and then having that new faction. I think this is a lot of new talent that you would be helping, and it would be a way to do it where you're helping the older guys by not putting them in these long matches where they could get hurt, like Sting did, and like Kane might have, getting that table bump at Hell in a Cell. I think this is a great Survivor Series. This is a great distraction for John Cena not being there. And I love this dude. Take him out, man. This is like Raven and ECW.
Well,
this is fucking cool.
There's a huge gaping hole, like you said, with Cena. Is it great that's John Cena? Hey, I don't mind John Cena. I don't mind John Cena.
I don't mind John Cena. Yeah, I don't mind John Cena. But we saw with Del Rio, like once he left and then he came back, he was bigger and it was fresh. So obviously this is a very.
But he was only bigger because he dropped down to them. It's not like he was off TV.
No, but I'm saying that shows that with a little bit of time off, you then have fresh matches. It's not like John Cena and Del Rio was a fresh matchup.
If they booked Del Rio in a way that he's actually. Something you want to pay attention to. This is a bad start. Okay, they gave him the belt. I mean, just putting the belt on him,
and then he won
altogether is just a bad look.
And then he had and then he won. He got a victory, and then he didn't lose. He didn't get pinned in the other match. He just got like fucking KO.
But he don't give a fuck about that U.S. belt. He don't care. He don't care about that U.S. belt.
It hadn't been a week, man. It hadn't even been a week.
For him to already just be like, yeah, world title. Again, you look at the opportunity, it's just too soon, like for him to actually for them to jump straight from a pay-per-view to like, okay, number one contender, and we're going to throw both guys who just won those belts. They just won those belts just the night prior, and we're not even talking about, even though it was a great wrestling show.
Well, Owens had the belt for a while.
Great wrestling show. He's only had that belt for
I gave this is definitely this is a 90.
I just feel like they... Nah. I feel like in terms of like it was definitely the blow off, the transition itself. It wasn't the smoothest of transitions from the prior pay-per-view, which was the night before. They didn't talk a lot about what happened the night before. They only addressed Brock and Taker. That's all they talked about. And none of those guys showed up. It would have added a little something if Heyman and Brock, or even just Heyman came out and just like, see what we did to The Undertaker? Fuck him. We out. Would have added just a little more, like,
But he did that in his Bray way, like, I feel
who?
like
I'm talking about Brock. Brock and Heyman.
If Brock came out?
Yeah, or Heyman.
Well, you gotta save those dates, man. You gotta save those dates.
You want to put over The Undertaker, yes, Brock Lesnar went through hell and Hell in a Cell, and The Undertaker is a foe, blah, 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 blah. We gave him his own medicine, whatever. That puts The Undertaker over, because they're admitting to that, it was a even Stevens match. It took Undertaker's own dirty medicine to defeat him, and then boom, we move forward. Like, just give me something where I can actually just unhinge it, and then hook it to another wheel. You got guys winning belts.
You don't think Bray taking Taker off and then taking Kane off? You don't think that was that?
Nah, that was a waste of my time. I think that was a waste of my time.
I think that's going to be a big story arc in the weeks.
Because it wasn't. Of course, it will be. Not saying I gotta like it. Bray. It wasn't like that. Bray called out Kane. Kane just came out
because it was his brother.
I mean, yeah, but like it's almost as if
you kidnap any member of my family, I'm at least coming at you to ask some questions. I mean, you kidnapped the motherfucker.
But it since Undertaker's been back, it's not. I understand this whole like we get it in storyline. They are they have a legacy of their family relationship, but you would think that there would be some winks at that to a certain degree, not just all of a sudden, oh yeah, you took away my brother. Hey, not only did I just lose the belt, and my Jekyll side just got fired. Yeah. Like they didn't even mention that they fired him in the opening segment. I don't think they mentioned nothing about the fact.
They mentioned that like in the back, but that was about it.
Yeah, so it's just. I just felt the transition over to these new feuds, this new thing, and it is great. It's great.
It's a little rocky.
It was rough around the edges, that transition over, and that's where I see it. If I give this grade, it's straight down the middle, to C, because the wrestling was great. Everyone was tired as fuck. People got blown up. I mean, Reigns was blown up as soon as the bell rung against him and Kofi Kingston. But other than that, I just hate seeing Cesaro lose. That's just personal stuff. I'm glad that Paige, other than the page in terms of storylines, that page finally turned, made it that C. Because it would have just been a D show to me, or a C minus to me, because of the lack thereof transitioning over, just a cold cut, just a cold, like, to what they got going on now. But yeah, if you love wrestling, you got a fucking wrestling show. I mean, but I don't. It's a little bit of sweet, a little bit of sour when it comes to the WWE for me. I mean,
I love this show. I thought it was great, man.
You love every fucking show. You love that shit show from 3 weeks ago that everyone was like, "You're nuts."
Well, this one was amazing. This one was good. I can't see how you would say this one was bad. It's perfect. It built to one main thing that ended up being awesome. I
didn't say it was bad. I just
storylines are supposed to, go on. I mean, like all those matches at Hell in a Cell, like the Ryback versus Owens. That match already happened. Dudley's versus New Day. That match has already happened. So I mean, they didn't even get the opportunity to mention they got done dirty. They didn't even get to talk about it. Maybe they get to talk about it at SmackDown. Well, I'm saying like those storylines were stale. So to quickly brush those aside, I see that as a good thing.
But you got us this time. We're going to be back for those belts again, the Dudley. Just give me something. Just give me something. These guys were just thrown out there. If you just go, okay, number one contendership, and LOL, it was the Roman Reigns show. He wrestled twice.
Well, they got to build that main face with Cena gone. I mean, that's like very apparent.
Fuck Reigns as that face right now, man. I just, and it's not even anything against him. I just like, but what is he contributing? What is he gonna give? And you know what? And I just feel like, and this is the last thing I say, and we're going. If you got last words, but what I'm discovering right now, and I was listening to the PW Torch, and they were some guy called in and talking about like, well, what's up with this and that about. Why can't they build superstars this way, And they were saying, like, well, they want guys to be cheered. They would much rather their guy be cheered. And I go, like, I don't think so. I don't think they want Reigns to be cheered. I don't think they want anybody in position to be cheered. I think the new cheer is polarizing. And that's the Cena effect. If you're polarizing, you're money. If you're cheered, you're Daniel Bryan, you're Cesaro, you're not money, you're just cheered. People stop cheering for you after a while. But if you're polarizing, you're always got the attention on you. Tim Tebow, Kim Kardashian, you name the fucking polarizing figure. Justin Bieber, these people aren't as famous as they are polarizing. People take sides, and you got one person on this side like, yeah, Roman Reigns, yeah, Kim Kardashian, yeah, fucking Justin Bieber. You got the other people on the other side who are just like, fuck them. So if you got this contention, like seriously, these people just going head to head. Let's go, Cena. Cena sucks. Just this is what controversial or what have you, but you will always gain the attention because you're so polarizing. And it's not even about the superstar itself. It's about the fans and their feelings for him coming out on television through your fucking speakers, And that's what they're trying to do with Roman Reigns. If they can polarize his ass,
but he might not be. The problem is he's not that polarizing. He's just getting.
They're
booed.
working on it.
They just want him booed when he wants to get. Well, yeah, they're definitely working on it. That's why I think you need Raws like this, where you give a lot of people some strong victories, but then there's got to be one guy at the top, and I think it's Roman with Cena gone and Randy gone. Of course.
I said this on Peter's Raw recap. When the day that Kevin Dunn and fucking Stephanie McMahon and Vince McMahon Michael P.S. Hayes are in the back. Used to be Dusty. God bless his soul. We ain't forgot you, Dusty. We still love you. When they start hearing, let's go Roman sucks, those fuckers are gonna do backflips like
you know who got that at the pay-per-view? Cesaro.
Cesaro got that?
Yeah, Cesaro got that at the pay-per-view. And people were tweeting like, Cesaro's fans are ruining him for me and things like that.
Oh.
So, I mean...
So, he looks like he has an edge. If that happens, I guarantee you, if that happens more often, the Cesaro section versus the hater section, the Stardust section, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, did you see Well,
he's been doing that on SmackDown.
That's funny.
That goes down, it's a wrap. You will finally see a push. And that's what it's going to take. And you know what? And I would almost think that if anyone's out there smart and that wants Cesaro to get that push, every time they come to a show, get your smartest of the smartest marks to fucking organize a fucking, pull a Chicago. It's like, yo, we need y'all to be like, Cesaro sucks, and we're gonna be like, let's go Cesaro, because this is the way that they want their stars to be. They want them to be polarizing.
And if you can pull that off, then you are the real polarizing figure.
You are the MVP. Yeah. You're the real MVP. Like, seriously.
It
makes sense.
I agree.
You can only get so much mileage.
I think that's why like guy like Rollins is good, because like obviously the internet loves him, but then the
people love him.
Yeah, I would say, but the kids probably are just like, fuck you. Like you go up against Cena.
He looks cool though. He doesn't look menacing. That's the thing.
He's Triple H's CM Punk.
He's cool. He's cool looking.
Yeah.
I mean, you could boo a guy like Sheamus. Look at him.
Yeah, he looks stupid. That's his
He
chance.
looks stupid. But like not Roman Reigns, but Seth Rollins. That's the thing. He looks so cool. Even if today's kid and what they Corey Graves, and Corey Graves is petitioning himself to be the new director of operations. That would be fucking awesome.
Oh, is he doing that?
No, but he's petitioning. That's his whole thing on his panel. With Otunga and Scott Stanford and Booker T. He's like, and it's a good thing that whatchamacallit's gone, that Kane's gone, so I can be the new director of operations. That would be, in itself, the freshest move that the WWE has done in quite some fucking time.
I would say so too, because if you look at the director of operations, he's a lot of times plays like the host of the show, like like Teddy Long on SmackDown, like Kane did, where he like you work with every talent. And Corey Graves is already a TV show host. He does several shows on the network.
And he's an NXT guy. He's still in development. And nothing wrong with it, because it's a new thing.
He's done. He
can't new. I'm just saying he's new to this. He's new to this. So if he became in some way, somehow, like a guy that was in the authority somehow as the director of operations, and he was given the role to sort of run SmackDown. I mean, I'm not saying it would be all this great thing. I just say it'd be a breath of fucking fresh air, because he has a whole different look than everyone else has been in that position, And he has the look that it's this new wave. Like, this is why Seth Rollins, this is getting over as a heel. Like, people are cheering him because, like, from the kids, like, how can you build this guy? He looks so fucking cool. So
sure.
I'm just saying, like, I hope they do that. I hope they do follow through on Corey Graves coming over, and your next star is going to be a polarizing star. Your Tim Tebow.
We'll see. And
that's Reigns. But if they get that with Cesaro, that'd be fucking badass.
Well, I think they've already decided on Cesaro, sadly enough. But who knows? Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, nothing wrong with a little monkey wrench. That Cesaro section could only get you but so far. If you can pull off this fucking awesome. What you want to call reverse psychology on WWE? Hey, why not give it a shot? We got the yes movement over, but like, this is what they react to. Hey guys, let's do this to fucking see if it works.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So you got any last thing? You got any last?
No, just maybe some plugs. If you want to talk to me on Twitter @JG Pro Wrestling, listen to me on SoundCloud.com/JG Pro Wrestling. I'm on Mark Charles's podcast every Thursday night, where I do the news and everything like that. It's called Outside Interference, and I, of course, do Fast in the World podcast, where we review NXT every week. That comes up every Thursday morning. There you go. GorillaPress.com puts up Fast in the World.
And if you're checking this out, and I swear to God, if you've gotten this far, because I thought we'd get through this faster, but hey, we got like 4 segments. We got into that tit for tat at the beginning, and I hope that entertained you. That was raw emotion. Like, that's the thing. We don't really ever rehearse. So whenever we get into it, especially about things that he's passionate about, especially an NXT product, and it gets interesting. So we're going to keep it up. That's why I want to do it. That's why I like doing NXT as developmental, to sort of get like a raw sort of back and forth between the two of us. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Hit that subscription button below if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the fucking button and do yourself and all us a favor. Go check out the other shit that we've done.
For sure.
Check out my reaction videos. Again, 2K plus. Again, that's pretty cool. That's the simple mark out moment for myself. We get Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. We got the New Day podcast. We have Peter Talks SmackDown. Again, check out Fast in the World podcast. His old Fast in the World podcast, if you're interested in what he felt like a year ago, you can go actually to the playlist, Fast in the World playlist. It's the beginnings of the Fast in the World. Some fascinating stuff, interesting stuff about a lot of the guys that are actually on the main roster now. So yeah, go check out how they felt about them when they were on the developmental card. Comment if you heard anything. You want to leave a comment. PJTW, you can hit us, PJTW at Central on Twitter, JG Pro Wrestling. You can also leave a comment below. Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, now Podbean. Again, Podbean. That is the new medium to listen to us. It's awesome. I love it. It's a labor of love. It cost me like $100. So I hope, I'll send the links out or whatever. But if you have a Podbean account, make sure you subscribe to that as well. Like, thumbs up, do all those things that generate the logarithms for us to go up to suggested Wrestling Talk podcast. And then anything else, share. Hit that share button, hit that twisty button, recycle button, do anything, post it on your whatever, post it on your butt. Damn it. Because we're trying to be that shit,
Oh yeah.
Booty. But yeah, and that's about it, man. Again, PJTW Central, iTunes, Stitcher, Tumblr,
iTunes,
Podbean, Fast in the World, JG Pro Wrestling. Is anything left to say?
Watch NXT.
Watch NXT tonight. I'm gonna watch the World Series, and watch out for those foreign objects. Oh shit! Peace.